Hello and welcome to beautiful Georgia for Season 3, round number 3 of the iRacing, round number 4, sorry, of the iRacing Israel League. My name is Dane Baird, and joining me in the commentary booth, as always, is Adam Barth, also controlling the cameras and the beautiful SDK gaming overlay that you can see on your screen. This week we're at Road Atlanta. We came here last season in the GT4s. Alon Day won last time out with Shalva in second and Michael Sherling finishing third 2 months ago when we last visited the circuit. Now we're here in the GT3 Cup cars. A 40 degrees Celsius track temperature, very hot. That's going to prove difficult for these drivers here today. As you can see on screen, if you're used to the iRacing Israel League, normally we've got a closed qualifying session, but Adam, tonight we've got an open one, and it's slightly longer as well. So we've got cars all on the track together, and they're going to be setting all their lap times at the same time. So that's going to be interesting to see. And 4.06 kilometer circuit, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. You can see all of the trains of cars coming down the S's. It's a beautiful shot down the S's there as well. 10 minutes into qualifying, and so far, sort of surprisingly actually, Amir Meshlam is on provisional pole, Adam.
Yeah, 2/10 of a second ahead of Ring Gross in second place. So yeah, very intriguing qualifying times at the moment. We were talking just before we came on air about the difficulties that some of the drivers in this series had at navigating this circuit in the GT4 last time we were here. Now we're in the Cup car, and the racing was brilliant from this car at the weekend in the PESC series. So hopefully we'll get to see something similar to that here in the Israel League today. And yeah, if those qualifying times are anything to go on, with the top 5 separated by just half a second, I think we could be in for a very exciting 30-minute race ahead. And don't forget, of course, we've got our pit stops to factor into the equation as well.
Absolutely, we saw how much chaos the pit stops caused 2 weeks ago at Silverstone with drivers messing up the pit entry. We saw 2 drivers, it was Haggai Farron and Michael Sherling, both caught out by the pit entrance, although Haggai Farron's pedals were the reason for that. His pedals collapsed on him as he was entering the pits. That's never what you want to see. Barely made it through without hitting the wall. But there he is then, Haggai Farron, currently sitting in 6th position on the grid. Meshlam coming out to start his final outlap for his final lap. I believe in open qualifying sessions by default, once the clock stops, you can finish your lap.
Yeah.
Unlike how it has been for most of the previous 2 seasons. Haggai Farron going down the inside on his qualifying lap there. That was someone getting out of his way in the Martini livery. But Haggai Farron in his beautiful new livery. We got told off last week for not mentioning his livery, so there it is. In the number 31, beautiful livery there on his Porsche GT3 Cup car. Currently sitting down in 7th now, as we've had Chachashvili. It looks like, actually no, it's Sardekel that has improved on his time, up into 4th position there. You can see lots of drivers setting their times. Let me see how many drivers we've got. 28 drivers here tonight. So slightly fewer than last week, but still improving on the numbers that we've had for Season 2. Season 3 is looking fantastically large grids. There's a bit of a slide from the number 50 in the background of that shot. That's Gross there. Yeah, currently sitting in second, just 0.005 of a second behind Amir Meshlam, just not able to improve enough. Here is Meshlam on his outlap. He's going to start his final flying lap, and Adam, let's see if we can get an onboard for this final lap of his.
Yeah, over the line he goes, running on board with him then. I'm sure he'd be eager to extend that 0.005 of a second advantage that he has over Rimgross in second. Out the first corner then. Can take different lines there, which we'll probably see in the race. Over the crest, trying to go down through the gears into the beginning of the S's. Great part of the circuit this. You've really got to attack the curbs through this part of the circuit, he says, as he misses the first one. But he does clobber the one on the left-hand side and steers clear of that one on the right before heading into the 90-degree left. Dodges the sideways car in front of him. No issues there. Amir Meshlam not phased at all by that. Now into the double 90-degree right-handers at the back end of the circuit through this one here. Then down through the gears into the slowest corner, one of the slowest corners on the circuit. And you've got to make sure you get the exit right here, because then you go onto the longest straight on the circuit. Over the crest here, I think it is long enough for these Porsches to pick up a bit of slipstream. We have often seen in some of the races in the past that we just don't have straights long enough to do that. But I think we have that here at Road Atlanta. Now we plunge down the hill into the final chicane. Key overtaking point on the circuit, really. hopefully have a camera on that. Through the chicane, up over the hill. The pit lane is on the right, which is where the drivers are going to have to try and get the speed down to make sure they don't get a speeding ticket. Through the final corner, just the slightest of lifts. And then Meshalem goes across the line. And does he improve on his 1:21.38? No, he doesn't. He does a 1:22.06 to remain 5 thousandths of a second ahead of Vroom Gross in second with 30 seconds to go in the session.
Absolutely, and what I saw from the slight bit of the timing that I could see on the bottom of the screen, it's just coming across as someone cuts turn number 4 there. There is a club layout, they call it, also known as Hell on Earth. It is probably the worst layout in all of iRacing. And you can see the track map on the right hand side now. You can see that long straight at the top of it. Currently Gross heading down that straight towards turns 10A and 10B. Why they're called 10A and 10B, I do not know. But there he is in the number 50 car coming around there. He set a purple second sector, but the other 2 sectors he hasn't improved on his time. Let's see what he can do. I don't think this is going to be fast enough to take that position away from Meshalem. No, it's not. It's actually quite slow, that one. 122.7 doesn't improve in 3 of the 4 sectors. That's the checkered flag then as well. So no more driving for him. He's going to pull over to the side of the circuit. A couple of drivers able to finish their laps. 49 car over there getting out of the way as well. This is the 200 of Michael Sherling. Also beautiful livery, lots of chrome on that. A little bit loose as he heads in towards turn 6. Now into turn 7. And we're going to go from turn 7 straight to turn 10 because apparently that counts as turn 8. According to the owners of Road Atlanta, that counts as turn 8. And coming up as turn 9, which is really just a curved straight. And we've got a driver off in turn 10 who's just reset back to the pits. He's not going to get an extra... Oh, very loose from Michael Sherling. That's right on the nose. You can see the smoke and tyre marks on the circuit still from the car that spun. But interestingly that you mentioned the pit entrance. I thought he was going to give us an example there. He doesn't. This is probably one of the most difficult pit entrances in iRacing. A couple of drivers going for a little bit of rallycross there. Not too sure what that's about. It looks like Chechesvili and Le Havre. Yes, it is. Interesting stuff going on over there. As we've got Shalva Kviteshvili still on his outlap. He's going to pull off, and that seems to be it. No, it's not. Shalva's staying out in his new livery with the iRacing Israel League logo up on the front nose of that car. And it looks like he's going to pull away. No, he's not. What's Shalva doing? Ah, I know what he's doing. He's practicing his starts. Clever, clever man that is. As we've got the qualifying checkered flag has been waved and qualifying is finished. Let's see what the grid's going to be then for the race. I mean, Meshalem starts on pole. It's his first pole of the league. Rem Gross in 2nd, Michael Sherling in 3rd, Shalva in 4th, John Chico in 5th, Sardekel in 6th. Then we've got Chachesvili in 7th, Haggai Farron starting down in 8th. That's not where we usually see him in the midfield. Normally he's right up at the front of the grid. Mehdi Bakar in 9th, Dekel Nar in 10th. We've got Ori Le Havre, Oren Saleh in 11th and 12th. Nir Kop, Mizrahi, Ida Wizek, Ron Cohen, Yossi Gabai, Michael Simon, Gil Epstein, Toma Ventura, Yehuda Ben Yosef, Dor Malka, Alon Zeltzer, Rili Zer, and Eric Alster in 24th. And then 3 more drivers. That's Barak Monturiano, Leon Portman, and Marshy Pinchevsky. David Diag did not set a time. I think he was out there for all of qualifying, but he didn't set a time. Must have had a couple of invalidated laps. It looks like we're ready to race for what I believe is going to be a 35-minute race here at Road Atlanta. Still waiting for a couple of drivers, actually, it seems. 30 seconds until the green flag. And Adam, while we're waiting for the drivers, why don't we take a little look at the championship points?
Oh yeah, it's closed up quite a bit, hasn't it, in a couple of recent weeks. I don't know if we've got the updated ones available to you, and we'll hopefully bring them to you later on, because here come the lights.
Absolutely, 5 red lights. The revs are rising. And we go green from Road Atlanta, and it's a good start from Amir Meshlam. It appears that not a good start right at the
dear.
back, and that's Yossi Gabai involved as well. Loads of drivers backwards out of the final corner. Looks like someone maybe got a bit of wheel spin and turned it around. And that's a very tight section of circuit. Not really much that anyone could do, but it's Meshlam who leads into the first real braking zone of the race, potentially up into third position there. Michael Scherling even, down into fifth. So Shalva's up into third position. Meshlam with an early lead. Gross keeping up behind. Then Shalva just a few seconds back from them. It looks like more drama in the S's. That is Gil Epstein turned around there. It looks like it was near Cop that was involved in that one as well. Side by side, 2 rows back into turn number 6, now into turn number 7. This is where we're going to see some real moves being made down this back straight. There's a big train of cars here, 7 of them in a big train here, led by Haggai Farron in 5th. This is 5th down to, I believe it's 10th, as we've got another car off at the top. I think someone's got some wheel spin out of turn number 7. As Gross made a move up into turn number 10A. Meshlam managed to hold on to the lead as he comes to cross the line. 22 laps or 35 minutes, whichever one comes first, with a pit stop, remember. And Meshlam, who leads Shalva off the circuit, gets away with that one. Shalva does have quite a bit of damage to the right front fender of his car. Michael Simon heads down into the pit lane.
Now that could be for any number of things. He might not have enough fuel in the car. He may have jumped the start as well. Speaking of the start, we'll take a look at a replay of what happened there. Or he has picked up a meatball flag, but given the relatively clean state of his car, I severely doubt it is that. But yeah, Michael Simon, after a good qualifying, that's a shame for him, and he's now in the pit box now.
And that was a very small stop and go.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure what that's for, because I don't think that a jump start is a stop and go that quick. And I don't believe they got live stewarding either. So I wonder what that could have been for. Maybe just taking his fast repair. Maybe he had floor damage or something that we couldn't see. Maybe on the rear of his car. But there was also Gil Epstein that towed back to the pit lane that you just saw pop in just behind him. But Meshlam still leading this race 3/10 ahead of Green Gross in that number 50 car. Not close enough to make a move into turns A and turn 10A and 10B up over the crest. That's a really tricky part of the circuit. This is Dekel Nar looking down the inside of the 42 of Chachishvili just in front of him, but eventually deciding against it. Shalva's off the circuit again, running wide at the final corner as Gross sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:21.9 as we start lap 3 of 22.
Correct me if I'm wrong in this series, but do they have a number of points that you lose if you pick up too many incidents? I only just say that because that's the second time that Shalva's done that in as many laps.
I think there is a point system for the least number of incidents, I believe.
Cool.
Or I'll have to go and double check that one. I do know that the top 4 drivers to pick up the most number of places get 4, 3, 2 and 1 points respectively. Let's see what happened at the start. Then this is a replay of Michael Simon. Is Michael Simon the cause of this incident? No, he's not. Already there was contact behind from Yossi Gabai, and Michael Simon just getting tagged in the rear there. I think he's got some damage to the rear of that car. Here is Sardek on the number 12 car in that beautiful, beautiful AlphaTauri Formula 1 team inspired livery. It's probably one of my favorite liveries on the F1 grid, but let's have a look here. Toma Ventura just behind. Let's see. Okay, so Yossi Gabai gets a poor start unexpectedly from the car behind him, gets punted and turned round. That's the first incident that happens. Then there is a car in front. I'm not sure who it was. There it is, the Red Bull liveried car.
Idle Isaac.
It is Idle Isaac. Gets a lot of wheel spin, and you're going to see him now. Gets a lot of wheel spin in the second stage of the start. Spins around, makes a beeline to the right, straight into the side of Michael Simon, and then there's already chaos happening behind him as everyone checks up to try and get out of the way of Yossi Gabai in the bright green number 17. And yeah, that was 2 separate incidents that just caused a good 4, maybe 5 drivers. Let's see what happens further up the lap though, because it looks like behind Michael Simon, Gil Epstein and Here it is, Gillespie, and I think that's Nim Mizrahi as well. Nim Mizrahi just turns in front of him, both of them sent into the wall. Gillespie with the worst of that, hitting the wall quite hard to the rear as well. Everyone else seems to make it through all right though, and Gillespie's taken his fast repair and is up into 26th from last position. And Meshlam is still leading this race with a 3/10 gap to Green Gross. Gross, I believe, is a newcomer to the league. I have not seen that name before unless my memory is serving me very badly indeed. Schauber almost running wide again. Side by side into the final section of the course. Dekelnar and Ori Lahav going at it with Oren Sade and Ron Cohen just behind them. They're coming towards turn number 1. No real overtaking opportunities on this circuit really until you get to the back of the circuit into turns 10 A and B. That's probably the best overtaking zone of the circuit. As you can see here, really tight and twisty first and second sectors. Absolutely no way to make a move into here.
Notice that some drivers are taking very different lines through the S's. Some are deciding to hit the curbs, some aren't. Dekelnar, who we're riding on board with, he decided to avoid them, but didn't have the best exit from the left-hander, and now he's under severe pressure once again from Ori Lahav. Again, the two Porsches taking very different lines through these two right-handers. And now back onto the back straight they go again. This 4-car train includes the Braun GP livery. That's one of my favourites there. Getting driven by Ron Cohen in the 4. He's gained 4 places as well. Oren Sade in the black and orange Porsche there, he's gained 2 places. Then Ori Lahav, who's trying to get by Dekelnar, he's also up 2 places as well from the start as we go into the chicane again.
Absolutely, and getting up places from the start, you do get a few points for that, so it's definitely something that these drivers are going to want to be doing. Something happened to Eric Alster. I saw him drop right down the timing tower. Michael Schurling's back up into 4th position, it looks like, so I'm not too sure who he got past, and he's right on the back of Schauber now. That wasn't that close just a couple of laps ago, the last time we saw them. Less than half a second in it now. There is Eric Alster, and he looks like that's just after the incident, or is there a second one maybe?
Oh yeah.
Is there being contact between himself and Yossi Gabai? It looks like it. Let's see if we can get far back. There it is. Yossi Gabai, is he going to look down the inside into turn number 1? Yes, he is. Eric Alster closes the door, and oh, Yossi Gabai all over the curbs. Got squeezed there from Alster there, and then hits the curbs, really unsettles the car and forces him wide into Eric, into the 666 car. Let's see, the big squeeze there, and Gabai on the brakes. Not really much he could do about that.
And Eric Alster, he then has another crash afterwards. I just want to see what happened there. He gets going again. By the way, there is a change for the lead. We'll bring you the replay of that in a second. As Reem Gross now hits the front. Alster gets going, and then I think he goes and has another crash, does he? The car does look like it's struggling to turn to the left. Fortunately, he doesn't collect Michael Simon in the process, and then he goes for another spin. But while we were looking at that, there's been a change at the front, and here is how it happened. It was on the back straight, of course it would be. Reem Gross, who has been behind Amir Meshalem since the start, well, he is behind him no longer, and he was able to do one of the moves that we've seen at Road Atlanta so many times, which is the last of the late breakers into the chicane, and he'd already got the move done by the time he got on the brakes there, and manages to park on the apex to make sure that Meshalem couldn't get back up the inside into the chicane. So Reem Gross to the front, and could he potentially be on course for a victory here at Road Atlanta? We'll have to wait and see as we are quickly approaching 1/3 distance.
Absolutely, there was a great move from him. I think Meshalem got a poor exit out of turn 7, because it looked like Gross was right on the rear of his car from the get-go, and it looks like he dropped back quite a considerable amount. Gross was being held up by him, and he's going to check out of this one. 1.5 seconds now the gap, and Shalv and Schurling just behind in 3rd and 4th. They're going to be looking to try and get past Meshalem. There's a nice train between 2nd, 3rd and 4th positions on the circuit. A bit behind them, you're going to see now is Hagai Farron, a little bit under pressure from Madi Bakar, and some good battles going down the order as well. Here is Monturiano in 15th position. He's going to make a move for 14th up the inside of Sir And that is a great move into turn 10A. It's going to be under pressure now from Portman.
That might be a lapped car, I think, potentially, is it? That's going by the 12. That is Sardekel trying to unlap himself in the AlphaTauri liveried car. But yeah, a good fight between Monteriano. He's a man on a mission, really. 11 places gained in the opening 8 laps, and he's loving life here. If he can carry on, he might be able to get into the points because he is lapping very quick. 1:24.84 last time around. That was a second quicker, bang on, than Renly Sir as he makes a mistake and he's connected Sardekel. It was already a lap down. Oh my goodness me. Oh wow. Well, really, Sir will be thanking his lucky stars there because, my goodness me, I thought he was going to get completely wiped out in all of that, and now he's up into 14th place.
Absolutely, Masuriano's just lost a place to Leon Portman there. Portman round the outside. There's Yossi Gabai just behind as well. Is Gabai going to have a look down the inside of Portman? He did take a look. Portman got a poor exit though. Yossi Gabai's got a good opportunity now on the left-hand side of the circuit. Coming down in towards just past turn 8, coming towards turns 9 and then turns 10A and B, and he's got that move done ages before turn 10 even arrives. Looks like Mechelem and this train between Shalvin and Sherling here has caught up to Gross. So has Gross made a mistake, or have they just found some pace somewhere? Michael Sherling looking to get another podium to his collection, consistently finishing near the top of the order. Bit of a lock up from Gross there on the left rear, and Sherling, this is probably his best opportunity to make a move now. 2 tenths between himself and Schaub. Is going to get all of the draft from the third position car, the 94 iRacing Israel League liveried car. He's going to defend to the inside, is he? Yes, he is. Sherling's going to have to go, he's going to defend the inside. Sherling's going to have to go all the way around the outside. Doesn't look like he's made that one stick, and he's going to have to file back in line, and he's going to have to wait another lap to make a move.
Yossi Gabai and Leon Portman as they lap there, the Ido Isaac car there. Yossi Gabai and Leon Portman having a competition for whose car can be the greenest in the field. Yossi Gabai's had that mantle for the seasons we've been covering the iRacing Israel League, but I think Leon Portman with that insanely green Porsche 911 Cup car might be trying to take that throne away from him. Sherling, yeah, very close going through the chicane, and he and Shalva just starting to lose touch just a little bit with Amir Mechelem, who's managed to extend his small advantage over second and third to 7 tenths of a second.
Absolutely, Gabai has had issues. He's dropping down the order. Manchuriano and Michael Simon both getting past.
There he is. Has he gone off again?
Is there any more damage to that car? Let's have a look.
I think this might have happened just a little bit earlier. I'm not too sure because Monteriano's behind him at this point. Is he gonna miss it? He misses the apex and then goes across the chicane. Yeah.
And he's gonna get a big old slowdown. I think that's like 3-4 second slowdown there for cutting that. Leon Portman's gonna have to go around his outside as well. Unless Portman actually doesn't get there. That was a bit of a weird lighting glitch on my screen. That's Sir from 14th position now down into 17th, and that's a spin behind.
Sido Isaac again, is it? No, it's the 12. Sorry, it's a Sardekel again. Oh no, reversing into the barriers as well.
That might have been a spin. Yep. Once you overheat these Porsche tyres, they do not like you. They will bite hard, and it looks like that's what's happened to Sardekel. The problem is that's a crest behind him. Oh, once again into the barriers. Yeah, the brakes don't work so well on the grass. So maybe don't do that too much. But you can see the crest there. We can't see the cars coming over the crest. The cars coming over the crest cannot see Sardekel, and that's actually the leader, Marine Gross. And he's built up a little bit of a lead there, and he's going to get held up by this traffic. And it looks like there might be a move on there for Sherling. He's right up against Shalva as they come down the back straight. Left, right, going all different directions there. Traffic up ahead. That's not going to help their cause. Here he is then, going to go to the outside of turn number 10. Late on the brakes. He's going to almost hit Sardekel. And locks up the rear brakes, and he is into the wall, into the runoff area, and he's going to lose the place to Farron. He's going to lose the place to Mehdi Bakar. He's going to lose the place again to Chachashvili, that is. And he's not going to have to worry about these two, Dekelnar and Ori Lahav. Dekelnar down the inside into turn 10A. Going to have to hold it around the outside, and that's a great move from Dekelnar in the number 49.
Sherling's, and with good reason, has dived for the pits. I'm not sure if that's because of a meatball flag for too much damage, or because he thought, well, I've already lost these places due to that mistake at the chicane. I may as well come into the pits and get my mandatory stop out of the way. It will drop him down the order, of course, just a little bit more. And of course, he will have that fast repair too, so he won't suffer too much from any lasting damage that he would have got from hitting that barrier. But I wonder if he just got put off a little bit from that car that he overtook around the outside going into the chicane, because it certainly did not end well for him when he got on the brakes, as Shalva goes at the inside of Ammo Meshalem and up into second.
Absolutely, and it looks like Gross is still being held up by some lap traffic, so Shalva needs to get a move on here, no longer under the pressure of Michael Sherling, which might have made him a bit slower than he otherwise would have been, flashing the headlights. I think that's to tell the number 36, that's Sir, to get out of the way and right up to the back. Has he missed his braking point? No, he hasn't. That's just extremely late braking from Shalva. Bit loose is Gross ahead. That's going to give Shalva a bit of confidence now. 9/10, just under a second is now the gap between the leader and Shalva. Shalva did pretty well here in the GT4s last season, and he's looking to improve on his second place finish he had yesterday. For those of you used to the iRacing Israel League, I realize we haven't mentioned it. Mr. Alonde, as Dekelnar has lost it in turn 10B, gets out of the way of Gil Epstein. As I was saying, Alonde, Euro NASCAR champion, two-time champion, is not with us this week, and he might lose a couple of other races as well because of Euro NASCAR. The season is back underway, and he's headed to Europe, as that's a bit of a too late on the brakes from Dekelnar. He's hit the grass on the exit, and that's sent him round. And at that point, he's a passenger, and he loses the position to Gil Epstein as well. No, he doesn't. Gil Epstein was a lap down. So Dekelnar with an unfortunate mistake in the number 49 car. And that's Ido Isaac off in the S's as well.
Oh, has he gone off again?
Looks like it. I just saw in the background of that shot, just as it cut away, Isaac in the background crashing into the wall in the S's. Here is Mehdi Bakar then, with Chachashvili just behind.
And this is a fight for fifth now because of the incident with Michael Sherling. So these guys are fighting over a potential spot in the top 5 here as they come across the line, trying to get by the 36 there. That is really Sir, who after the lap after just avoiding a massive collision, then went and had a spin himself, such is the way of a racing driver in this series. Into the S's they go again then, taking quite a lot of inside curb there. Now we go down the hill. You saw in the opening lap just how lethal this part of the circuit can be, especially when you're on cold tyres, but no such issues for Maddie or Reuven. Biggest mover in the field so far. We've got quite a lot of them because they've all gained 10 places. Dawn Malka in 11th, he's gained 10. Alan Zeltzer up 10 places as well. Barack Montoriano also up 10, and Leon Portman, you guessed it, up 10 places too. So quite a lot of places getting gained there. And speaking of one driver who's back on the move, this guy, Michael Simon, he's already made a visit to the pit stone, and here he is. Of course, he's still got to pit again, I think, to make it to the end. But here he is applying some pressure on a driver he knows well, Yossi Gabai.
Absolutely, and that was it Alan Dalton? No, it's not. That's a lapped car. Michael Simon looking to make a move into the S's. That's a risky one there. Manchuriano just behind him as well. So he's got to watch both in front of him and in his mirrors as well. That is a lapped car in front of Yossi Gabai there. So he's going to have to make way to let these guys through. As Farron gets past Meshalam, Meshalam has made a mistake into, I believe, turn 10. No, it's not turn 10.
That's the exit of turn 1. Yeah, that's.
Yes, it is.
I'm not too sure what have happened there. They were very close, I must admit. So let's have a look at what happened to the Dr. Pepper car. he's lapping a car here. That's no bother to him. That's the 10 of Yehuda Ben Yosef. He's got Haggai Farron coming up right behind him, and then I don't know whether he
Outbrakes himself.
just got spooked by the bright red car in the mirror, I guess, and he goes for a ride through the grass and the gravel at turn 1.
And loses a lot of positions as well. He was sitting in 3rd, now sitting in 6th. Luckily, he's just behind Chattervilli, so he'll get a bit of draft down the back straight, and he might be able to make up some moves. Obviously, our pole sitter from this race, so he's got pace. We know that, so he should be able to make his way back up the field. Meanwhile, Shalva right on the back of Rien Gross with about 7 laps to go as they cross the line this time. I'm not sure they've got pit stops in this race, you know? They had pit stops last weekend at Silverstone, or last week at Silverstone, I should say. But I don't think they've got them here at Road Atlanta. Shalva right on the rear of Rien Gross here in the number 50 car. Looking at his driver profile picture there, you can see holding a trophy, wearing a race suit. Might be doing some karting or some car racing of his own, so an experienced driver. And Shalva right on the rear of him. I think Shalva's going to have a pretty good opportunity from making a move. The gap now decreasing, flashing the lights to try and off-put Rien Gross as they come in towards turn 6 and 7. This is crucial for Gross to get a good exit here. Otherwise, he's going to be eaten up by Shalva, and look at the gap there.
Whoa.
Barely anything separating them. Shalva with a really loose moment there. Flashing the headlights once again. Doesn't look like he's got the best of exits though.
Both of them were really going at it there. That was great to see, coming out of the right-hander onto the back straight. Will Shalva, though, go for it this time? We know just how good he is. We've seen it over the last season and a half, and Rien Gross here is getting a lesson in how quick Shalva is. Through the chicane, up over the crest we go, back down the hill. The lights continue to flash. He's really desperate to try and get this lead here, Shalva. And time is running out, he knows it. Lap 17 of 22. That is 6 laps to go, including the one we're on, or 35 minutes, whatever comes first. And doing the quick maths, it's going to be very tight on what we get to first, I think.
Absolutely. 6 laps to go then. Shalva weaving in his mirrors, flashing the headlights, doing everything he can to try and off-put Rien Gross. That is a lap car ahead of them. That might cause some havoc in a few moments' time. There's a car off on the inside of that corner, turn 5, in the Martini livery, and Shalva dropping back just a little bit. I think he's going to try and get a good exit this time. Let's see how heavy they put down the power. Both of them much more conservative this time. Haggai Farron in 3rd position, so getting up into the podium places. Shalva dropping back just a little bit.
Very close between these two then as it continues. Let's see what lap times they do this time as they come through the final corner. They've got some lap traffic just ahead. That is Barack Monteriano, who earlier we mentioned had gained 10 places. Now he's lost a couple and is only 7 gains. 121.676. Rien Gross is really pushing. That's a new personal best of the race for him. 121.90 for Shalva. So just a couple of attempts in it between the two, but Rien Gross pulling out the personal best right when it really mattered as they go through the S's. And he mentioned it at the beginning of the show. That's what the points look like. Shalva has a 120-point lead at this part of the stage of the season. He's currently in 2nd. Oren Sade on 97 points. Then it's Alon Day, of course. He might not be here for the rest of the season due to his Euro Whelan NASCAR Series commitments. And then it's Madi Bakari, Lahav, Ronco, and Amim Eshelem, Michael Scherling, Deco 9, Alan Zeltzer. So a nice little mid-race reminder of the state of the points.
Ori Lahav, Ron Cohen and Amim Eshelem, 5th, 6th and 7th, all on 77 points. So it looks like Michael Scherling has retired from the race a few laps ago after that incident, I think. We thought he was just going for a repair, but it looks like he's retired.
Oh no, that's a shame. Especially considering those point situations as well.
That's exactly right. Shalva dropping back even more now. Half a second is the gap with 4 laps to go in this one. Obviously no pit stops. We were wrong about that one. And Shalva needs to get a move on here. Is he maybe being very risky and leaving it for the last lap?
Well, I think he just needs to make sure that is within at least a quarter of a second going onto the back straight. Then he should be able to use a slipstream to his advantage, and you can see just how much of the track he's using. We can see the grass getting kicked up a little bit from him through the final corner, and here he is now using a lot of that exit curb on the exit of the left-hander at the end of the S's through the double right-hander. And onto the back straight we go again. The gap is just under half a second. If you can reduce that by maybe a tenth or two, and hope that Regan Gross makes a small mistake maybe for good measure, then he might stand a chance of going for the win on that final lap of the race. And even with the gap being half a second out on the exit of that right-hander, he's still able to reduce the gap by a couple of tenths as we get into the braking point for the chicane.
Absolutely, and he's so close there. There's a car off just ahead of them. Hopefully doesn't get in anyone's way. And straight into the pits goes Eric Alster. Maybe got some damage to that car then going for his repair, because he went quite heavily off there. I don't think he hit a wall. Maybe he's just taking his fast repair to be safe. There's a car coming out of the pit lane, gets well out of the way, stops on circuit to make sure he's not in the way of the leaders. Look at the line carried by Shalva, just gained 0.3 of a second through turn number 3. As they come down the S's, you can see how tight and twisty it is from this onboard camera here. Shalva right up against the rear bumper of Gross here, all over the curbs. That slowed him down slightly, but he is wanting to make this move now, I think, as he comes towards turn number 6. Gap is now 0.3 of a second, maybe a bit closer to 4 into turn number 7. He's going to get a good exit. He gets a good entry. Bit loose from Gross, and this is probably the closest Shalva's been for a good few laps now. 3 opportunities left down at turn number 10 for him. He's going to have to make the move sooner or later. 3.5 tenths now. I don't think he's close enough to make a move this time by. He's going to be flashing those headlights though.
Yeah, that will help spur him on. Maybe distract Regan Gross at some point. It's worth a try. Whoa!
Whoa! Really, really loose from him over the crest at turn 11 there. That was very, very risky stuff there.
And speaking of
now half a second.
Yeah, speaking of risky stuff, they're coming up to lap people now. There is quite a steady train of lapped cars just in front of them, including
Ido Isaac.
Yeah, who they had to get by earlier. Last time around it was a 1:22.1 for Regan Gross. Shalva, not surprisingly, with that sideways moment on the exit of the chicane, 1:22.33. It's a clear indication of how much the tyres are going off as well, because at the beginning of the race, or earlier on anyway, they were able to lap in the 1:21s, but since then the best they can do is low 1:22. So, and here they come up to the lap traffic. Some are getting out of the way, some aren't.
Portman gets out of the way. Ido Isaac does not. He's held up. Oh, very, very sideways from Shalva. That's not what he wants. The gap is going to increase to about a second now, as Gross is going to get the slipstream of Ido Isaac. And I think that might just be the race win for Gross if he can hold on now, because this is 2 laps to go. He's only going to get one more overtaking opportunity as Shalva if he can catch up to the back of Gross in this next lap, because Gross is about to start the final lap of 22. As he comes up over the crest, Shalva a second behind. This is going to be a hell of an achievement for Shalva if he can manage to win this race from here. But final lap of the race, a white flag is out side by side for 4th position. That Shach is really going down the inside of Manny Bakar. They make contact into the final corner. Both spinning around, and there's a car coming around the final corner. That's Amin Meshalam up into 4th, taking to the grass.
That was brilliant.
That was really great avoidance skills from Amir there in the 777 car coming around the final corner. Would not be expecting to see that. Shalva's caught right up to the back of Gross though, just a half a second in it, as they come down the back straight. And it's, oh no, it's not the back straight, this is down into turn 6 and 7. If Gross makes one mistake here now, Shalva has got it, I think. Is he going to make a mistake? No, he's not. He's got the drivers of Near Cop and Dormalka in front of him. they're in a battle of their own. I'm not sure they're going to be too willing to just get out of the way. Shalva looks like he had another moment out of turn 7. He is miles behind. Reem Gross is going to get held up here though as Cop goes down the inside into turn 10A and he makes the move stick. Gross just gets around Dormalka there and he's going to get stuck behind near Cop, but it is going to be Reem Gross coming around the final corner to win his debut in the iRacing Israel League Season 3. A great drive from him in the number 50 car. Shalva will finish in second once again. Hagai Farron takes third there. Amin Meshlam is going to finish in fourth. Oh. Lots of chatter on the radio. There is almost contact from Ori Lahav with Owen Sadi just ahead. Now he's got Ron Cohen right behind him. Are we going to see a move on the final corner? No, we're not. It's going to be Lahav in 8th, Cohen in 9th, and Dekel Nar is about to take
10th place.
10th, there he is. And I think I just saw Michael Sherling on screen there. Behind, that's a car off just behind. That looks like that was a lapped driver there. Of not too sure who that was, but it said on my screen that Michael Sherling is retired from the race, and it does seem that he has. Yes, he is not in the session anymore.
A few more cars coming around. There's Yehuda Ben Yosef, Gil Epstein here, who was involved in difficulties at the S's early on. Yossi Gabai there, just coming across the line there in P12, as Alon Zeltzer, John Chico. There he is, coming across the line with a severely damaged front end to his Porsche. And here comes Nir Mizrahi, who was on the verge of being lapped by Reem Gross, but because he wasn't, means he has to go around and do pretty much a full lap. He's done well in previous weeks as near Cup, but here he is across the line, and it's going to be P15 for the 84 car today.
Let's have a look then at who has made up the most positions. It's Alon Zeltzer tied with Leon Portman. Both of them making up 9 positions from where they start on the grid. They're going to get some nice points for that. Looks like there's also going to be points for Monturiano, up 7 positions. And Ron Cohen up 6. As well as Michael Simon also up 6. So those guys are going to get some points for making the most number of overtakes during the race. And that's just adding to a couple of their points for Ron Cohen, the highest of the 4 there, in 9th. And here are the race results then. Reem Gross taking a win in his first race of the iRacing Israel League. Shalva Kveteshvili once again in finishing in 2nd here at Road Atlanta. Just can't seem to get a win. Hagai Farron in 3rd. Amir Meshalam with some rallycross at the end to get up into 4th. Chachashvili and Matty McCarr making contact at the end, finishing in 5th and 6th. Oren Sarley in 7th. Ori Lahav in 8th. And we've got Ron Cohen and Dekel Nar rounding out the top 10. Michael Simon in 11th. Yossi Gabai with his bright green car in 12th. Alon Zeltzer in 13th. And we've got John Chico and Near Cop. Dor Malka is the first driver to finish a lap down. Leon Portman, Barrick Monturiano follow them. Yehuda Ben Yosef and Gil Epstein and Toma Ventura as well, all a lap down. Ido Isaac, Moshe Penchevsky, Really Sir, and Sar Dekel all finishing 2 laps down. Then we've got Eric Alster, David Diag, and Michael Sherling not finishing the race. 9 laps down. After that incident that he had down into turn number 10, didn't decide to carry on going. They do have 2 drop weeks, I believe, out of the 12 rounds of the season. This is only round 4, and I think that Michael Sherling is definitely going to be taking this one as a drop round. Here is a replay then, and I can guess what this is, and I'm right. Amir Meshlam might have seen it happen in front of him as they came around the final corner. This is what he was greeted with, and decides to go and do some grass cutting out of the final corner. And great driving from him. Like, I would not have seen that gap. I probably would have tried to thread the needle down the middle, and that would have been a big mistake.
Here it is in real time. Let's see if we can get the cockpit view up as well. So this is what he would have seen, or nearabouts anyway. I bet you the spotter would have said go right as well, and then he would have been even more in more trouble. So great thinking there from Amir Meshalem to go over there. And it paid dividends for him because he could have been sat in the pits, but instead he was able to do that and ends up finishing in 4th place.
Absolutely then. Well, I think we've got some drivers waiting for an interview, and I think the only driver that we can really start with is Mr. Reem Gross. Let's get him in for a chat then. Our race winner then. Joining us for an interview, Reem Gross, your race winner. Welcome to the comment box.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Well, you must be a pretty happy chap right now, winning your first race, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's my first race. It was really difficult. A lot of fighting with Shalva, and the back markers didn't help the fighting. It was really hard.
Absolutely, you really had to fight with Shalva there, getting a good experience of what it's like to have to fight with Shalva. Your first race, well, congratulations for winning. Is it your first experience driving the Porsche Cup car, or have you driven it a lot before?
I've driven it something like 2 months. I've raced the 3 races before, but this is the first race that I'm on the podium.
Absolutely. Well, that was a great fight from yourself, qualifying just in second, 5,000ths of a second behind Amir Meshlam, and then that move down into turn 10. That was the best overtaking opportunity, it seemed.
Yeah, it was really difficult. He didn't do any mistakes at the beginning, but I tried to push him hard. I tried to remain close as possible to him, and when he did the mistake, I jump in.
Absolutely capitalizing on the mistake from him and keeping Shalva behind you. That must have not been an easy task.
It was really hard. It was pushing me really hard. It was really close to attack me, but I tried to defend as hard as I can.
Absolutely, and he was flashing his headlights and weaving around in your mirrors as well. Did it have any effect on you, or were you not put off at all by it?
I tried not to look back, just when I know it was really close, so I could defend, but the lights didn't mind.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in the commentary box. Congratulations on your first win. But
Thank
before
you.
we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
I want to say thank you to all the organizers from Amir and the other people that work really hard so we can enjoy the league.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining us for an interview, and good luck for the next race.
Thank you.
Good to hear from the race winner there. And Adam, I believe you've got Shalva coming up.
Yeah, let's get him in for a quick word. There he is. And he joins us now in the commentary box. Shalva, welcome.
Hello, guys.
Well, it was so close in the end. There was some of the laps back markers looked like they might be able to do you a favour a little bit, but in the end, second place. You must be pretty happy with that, despite just missing out on the win.
Yeah, I was hoping to win this race, but nothing really went my way, and Ram found so much speed. I mean, like, everybody found so much speed this week, which is really good for the league. I'm really happy. Amir was extremely fast. Michael Sherling was extremely fast, and Ram was driving like crazy. But still, second place nonetheless. Just means I'm gonna have to practice more for the next race.
With a number of rivals for the championship also, yeah, being in a bit of difficulty today, this is still at least a good result for you in terms of boosting your chances of the championship as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna just keep pushing the whole way, try to score some good points, and and I just alone didn't race this week. So if anybody thought it was gonna be a breeze for me, obviously it wasn't. Like a lot of people here have speed. Some people needed just a little bit of time to find it, but here they have the speed. I qualified fourth, and like the quality was okay. I just couldn't find the speed. I had some troubles with people, but people were faster than me.
How were the tyres at the end of the race? We saw you in the closing stages. That right-hander going onto the back straight, you were really lighting them up, and even on the exit of the chicane as well. The car was getting very sideways.
Yeah, the tires are insane in this track on this weather, and actually, uh, I don't think it really shows on the race. But I had that little tap with Michael Sherling on the first lap, and I lost my steering was crooked a little bit to the left, and I also lost some straight line speed on the straight, and it really took a lot of time to adjust to the new steering, and I was just in at the end of the race it was almost impossible to hold the car at place, and trying to stay behind Ram as well because he was extremely fast. It was extremely difficult. I thought that was alone. Like we need to check it if it wasn't alone driving there.
And how were the headlight? And you were very good to be flashing the headlights so much at Ream Gross. Was that just trying to put him under a bit of pressure, maybe force a mistake?
I was out of tricks. I just couldn't catch him, so I said I'm gonna play some mind games, and I was just flashing nonstop, hoping he would make a mistake, but he didn't. He held on to it with some close encounters, with some back markers, which is something we need to talk about because in this league we treat blue flags like in Formula One. Like you get a blue flag, you move aside, you slow right down, and you move aside. And people didn't do it, which sucks. So. But anyways, Ram at the speed, he deserved this win, and congratulations to him.
We're just having a look back at the replay now. Oh yeah, at turn 2 or 3 was it the contact with Michael Sherling, and it didn't look that big from what we've just looked at now, but that was enough to just give your steering a little bit of damage.
Yeah, and it's quite incredible how a car with so much little downforce gets so much added drag on the straights from this little contact. It's I found it puzzling, to be honest, but it is what it is.
Oh well done today on the second place, Shalva, and as always, thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us, and hopefully we'll be able to do the same in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
One thing we just saw in that replay there, Dane, was
I was
a
about to
massive one
say.
for Sardekel, who took to the skies, and it probably wasn't the last time he was involved with something during that one.
I was just about to say. I saw that in the replay there. I was like, oh, we missed that. That was a big one. He was in midair for quite some time at the crest after turn 5 there. That's something that we must have missed. Someone just maybe losing the rear end into the wall and back onto the racing line. Sardekel had nowhere to go and just bang, up he went. Definitely missed that at the start of this race, but we've seen it now, which is all good. I think we're going to get our next interview in now. Actually, let's have a look at the replay first. Let's see that the car in front into the wall, bounces back. Oh, he was a bit loose already, but he hit that hard. Gets grabbed by the wall, and that was the number 3 car.
John Chico, yeah.
Yes, it is. That explains why John lost 9 positions by the end of the race as well.
Managed to carry on by the looks of things. Let's just double check one more time what happened to him. There we go. Oh wow, yeah, lost it on the exit curb, went into the tyre barrier. Now, normally that wouldn't have been too bad, but yeah, he bounced into the side of Sardekel, and yeah, that's what happened to those two. So yeah, we've just got one driver waiting to talk to us now. I know that we are running out of time, so yeah, we do have Haggai Farron, and he and his new livery are ready to talk to us.
Absolutely. Well, Haggai, welcome to the commentary box with your new livery on the car that we made sure to mention this week after you told us off last week. Well, congratulations on third position. You have to work pretty hard for that one.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited about the third position. It's a win for me. I wasn't really prepared for this race. I didn't have the pace. You saw that in qualifying. And I just made the best of any mistake any other driver did. And I'm super excited.
And you qualified down in P8. I mentioned it at the time. We're not used to seeing you that far down. We're normally seeing you where you finished eventually, up in the top of the race results. Qualifying in P8, so you had you had your work cut out for you. A lot of drivers ahead of you that are in the way of some decent points, and you have got a championship fight on your hands as well. Because looking at the points, you're currently sitting all the way down in 13th because of the drop week that you have. But if you add on a drop week, you're not too far behind the leaders. So
Yeah, I mean,
you're not out of contention for the championship just yet.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I have my work cut out for me, but I think it's super exciting to see all the new excellent drivers who joined the league. Re'em and Ruven. Amir made a tremendous jump. I mean, well done on pole position. That was amazing. A lot of the guys are getting faster, so I'm getting slower. I need to do something about it.
So all those track guides that you've been doing for them, they're eventually starting to pay off, and they're all starting to get a bit better, which is great for the league and maybe not so good for yourself. But 2 weeks time then, Brands Hatch. How do you find that circuit?
Love it. I can't wait for Brands Hatch. I love the circuit. I had the pleasure of driving it in real life, and absolutely fantastic circuit.
I've done it in this car in last season. It is a lot of fun in this car, and I'm looking forward to be commentating that one. And from the sounds of things, you're pretty excited to be driving there in 2 weeks time.
Yeah, most definitely. And also a quick shout out, we're not missing Alon at all, who is listening to the broadcast from somewhere in Europe, waiting for his chance to race again in the Euro Wheeling Series. So we are rooting for him to get back to real racing, and shout out to him.
I saw that in the iRacing Israel League Discord server, he was in a voice chat with all of you guys during the race.
Yeah, he can't get enough of us, you know. He doesn't have any other friends, so always he's nagging, but we love him. He's our champion.
Well, that's great to hear, Hagai. Thank you so much for joining us in the commentary box, and hopefully Alon will be back in a couple of weeks' time. We know his schedule is getting pretty hectic now as the season is starting so late in the year. He's got an action-packed schedule waiting ahead of him. Best of luck for him in the Euro Wheeling Series, but Hagai, thank you for joining us in the commentary box. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
No, I think I'm all good. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Hagai. Well, great to hear from him then, and that is pretty much it then, Adam. A pretty interesting race we had there.
Yeah, really, really good. I said at the beginning of the show that the Pesk race was good there, and I think that's pretty much rubbed off to this series. Yeah, fantastic race by everyone. And Hagai Farron, we were just watching his start there. It was brilliant. He managed to do a great job of avoiding the mess that we saw there between Sardekel and Chico there. So some great stories throughout the field there today. And we only got to hear some of them in terms of the interviews. So hopefully in 2 weeks' time we'll see more of the same at Brands Hatch. It's a bit like Road Atlanta, really, just except we don't have really too much in the way of long straights. So as just to echo what Hagar was saying, they're really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen there in 2 weeks' time when we head back home to Brands.
Absolutely, I think it's gonna have some great close racing. It does reward close racing. Brands Hatch, very good for touring car races, and they obviously raced mostly side by side the entire race, as we've seen in ARLTC. The times that it's headed to Brands Hatch always been good races. Hopefully, we're going to see the same here in the iRacing Israel League in 2 weeks' time, same time, obviously, as always, and we will be back. Adam and I in the commentary booth for that one. We can't wait for that. But for now, from everyone here at Apex Racing TV and the iRacing Israel League, thank you for watching. See you in 2 weeks' time. Good night. Happy racing.